All right, here we go. So, please make sure that you guys know that you do have a vocab quiz on Monday, of course. Focus, study guide are due on Wednesday. Outlines due on Tuesday. It is a normal week, like straight up normal week. Normal week. All right. So, on your whiteboard, here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me who is the first person to study personalities. Is the foundation of it all. Good. What do we got, John? Freud. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is, right now, I see Sam, I see Vanessa, I see Gabriella, I see Olivia. What state am I in? Good. Tess? Conscious state. So, I asked Lauren what she had for dinner, and she goes, spaghetti. George asked George what you have for dinner, and he goes, what'd you have for dinner? Pizza. What is he in? He is in his unconscious or pre-conscious. I'll accept either or. Both of those work. It is. Just different terms. All right. On your whiteboard, please tell me. This is the best of who you are. This always is telling you to do the right thing. It is always pushing you to be better. Riley.
Superego.
Superego. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is making the decision? What is making the decision of what to listen to? Sierra. Ego. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is rumbling around in our brain that we can't access, but it's the largest part of our brain, okay? And it is, Freud says the only way we can access it is through our dreams and through Freudian slips. So when I say, oh my God, Vanessa, I hate your shirt, I mean, oh my God, Vanessa, I love your shirt. Okay, that is my what speaking, Vanessa? Subconscious. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is our animalistic tendencies? If we allowed ourselves to listen to this, we would be animals, like my little man Toby. What is it, Mia?
ID. I thought it was ID.
It.
My bad, I'm sorry.
An AP Psych teacher just died in the middle of instruction.
I'm sorry.
Here we go. Okay, so yesterday we don't. I got a couple more to review. All right, on your whiteboard, what part of our personality is innate, which means it's passed down from parent to child, parent to child, parent to child. I got mine from my mother. That's why I'm so high strung. Good. What is it, Zach? Temperament. What part of our personality is our morals, which is taught to us by society? It's our environment that does it, our parents, our religion, our society. What is it, Gabriella? Character. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is, please tell me what, okay, we're really done. I gotta go, because you guys are done. Okay, so when we're talking about Freud, of course, everything that I'm doing right now is all psychoanalysis, okay? So, Freud's major theory. So, we'll go through id. You had to define id. By the way, pleasure principle is down below. Fill it in below. You'll see it. It's on the front page, but it's below. Pleasure principle, yes? Okay, pleasure principle is a principle in which the id functions, the immediate satisfaction of need without regard for the consequences. When we talk about pleasure principle, your id controls it, which means I want what I want. For instance, if I had a bag of candy in my desk that I was saving for Valentine's Day, do you think it would still be closed, or do you think that sucker would be wide open and 3/4 gone? The answer is, it'd be wide open and be 3/4 gone, even if I put it in my desk this morning, because I have a problem. I love sweets, it's a problem, and I have no self-control. That is my pleasure principle, okay? I want what I want in regards to sweets the moment I see them. Pleasure principle, okay? Every single one of you has a weakness that you cannot control yourself, right? What is it? What's your thing, Sophia? Sophie? Sweets? Ripke, what's yours? That when you see it, you're just like, I have to have it. Are you, like McCrae is Amazon Prime.
Oh, that's a good one.
See, he doesn't have the Amazon Prime password. He has to double check because he would go on Amazon Prime and just start purchasing things. Well, it's tied to my credit card, not his credit card, and I don't have that much money. He has money. I don't. So if he was just going through, he can't be trusted. His is all pleasure principle on Amazon. He just can't be trusted. He would see something, oh my God, I need it. One click. He loves the one click thing. It would be ours. We'd be getting packages 10 times a day. Pleasure principle, what can't you control yourself with?
Bagels and cream cheese.
Bagels and cream cheese, you just go wild, you just wild out.
Cinnamon raisin bagels, like toasted.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you put butter on it, don't put cream cheese. Put butter on it,
I
it's
do,
the
but
best.
cream cheese is better.
Yeah, gross. What?
Blueberry toast.
Okay, so pleasure principle is whatever you cannot control. One of my good friends, she's a Sephora obsessed. She walks in, she literally can't walk in there unsupervised. Because she'll just put everything in her basket and she'll just throw it on her credit card and she'll say, whatever happens, happens. What do you mean? How is that? Like, you're a grown up. You are a grown woman. And she's like, it just happens. I just like black out with excitement. And I was like, it's makeup. And she's like, I know, but when I open my drawer and everything's all matching and it's all perfect, it's so nice.
She has the palette 1, 2, 3.
Ego. Okay? So ego is the part of the personality that that develops in order to deal with reality. It's your mostly conscious, rational, logical thought. This is who you are. You get pulled from to your id, to your super ego. Your ego is the one being torn between. So your ego is dealing with the reality principle, which is below, by the way. Okay? Your reality principle is a principle in which the ego functions, satisfies the demand of the id only when the negative consequences will not arise. So when we talk about reality principle, is you do things if you think you're not going to get caught, correct? Like Ripke, would you throw a big party at your house if you knew your parents weren't going to find out?
Probably not. Oh wait, if I knew they
If
weren't
you
gonna find
knew they weren't going to
Oh, yeah,
find
yeah,
out,
definitely.
you would definitely do it? See, I don't know if I would. Because, like, I don't want that many people in my house. Because when you say, like, a house party, everyone shows up.
Unless you're people.
Huh?
You don't throw the parties, you attend them.
Yeah. I was small. That's a small house.
Say, unless you have really cheap friends like I have, and everyone's like, well, Sam, you just throw the best party, so no one throws a party unless I do it. And then if I say, oh, I'm having 8 people over, 16, 25 people show up. Oh, Sam's having a party? Oh, I'm coming. It's so damn annoying. So you would do it? That's your reality principle. Okay? Every single one of us, when we make a decision, what's the consequence of this, correct? Like, what's the long term? Like, for instance, if you said, screw it, I'm not doing my homework last night, did you sit there and say, if I don't do my homework, how much trouble am I going to get? Right? My sophomores, they live in this struggle. Because if I'm sitting there checking homework, I call them out. I do roll. Why aren't you turning this? Why aren't you turning this? Why aren't you turning this? You've seen me do it here, right? I do it every week with sophomores. Okay? They'll literally know on Tuesday night if they don't do their homework, they're going to get called out. So guess what those kids do? They delay all week and they stay up to like 3 o'clock in the morning working on my stuff because they just couldn't manage their time appropriately. But they're like, the reality is, I know Ben is going to call me out. So what do? Stay up to 3 in the morning and do it. But if they knew I wasn't going to call them out, guess what? People turn in half-completed stuff. Okay? So what do? Try to make them do it to make sure they know. Superego. Okay, your superego is a part of the personality that acts as the moral center. This has a lot of parts to it. Some of them are below, not all of them. Okay, so they have the ego ideal. Okay, I don't think that's below. You need to know that for superego. Your ego ideal is the part of the superego that contains the standard for moral behavior. This is your best self. Okay, this is what you want to be. Like when you think about who you are as a person, okay, your ego ideal is that person. Like I think I'm a nice person. My ego ideal definitely is, but my real ego falls short sometimes. On a regular basis. Is that fair to say? Is that fair to say if I qualify on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Okay. So, ego ideal is I really do think I'm a very nice, warm, kind person. and that I do feel like I do show that I generally care to my students. Sometimes tough love's needed. Sorry, but I do feel like I do genuinely am a kind person. My ego ideal is super kind. My ego lets me goes to my id a lot more than I think most people do, and that's where I have the problem. So ego ideal is your best self. You're kind. You're charitable, you go out of your way to help others, all of those different types of things is your ego ideal. Your conscience, which is below, by the way. Your conscience is part of the super ego that produces the pride and the guilt, depending on how well behavior matches or does not match that super ego ideal. George, get something down, man. Come on. You have the whole applications. You got nothing in those boxes. Oh, really? Or you can do it now instead of rubbing your hands through your hair and just like looking like you're dying. I completely agree with you. I really don't want to be here, but let's cross some things off, right? I got George, write something down. Okay, so your conscience. Your conscience is when you fall short of your ego ideal. When you say something mean, when you could have helped someone and you decided not to, that guilt that you get, that's your conscience. It's your little Jiminy Cricket, if you will. Do you even know that reference?
Yes.
Pinocchio. John Pinocchio. The little cricket.
Yeah, we almost moved.
Thanks, John.
What did he? I've never seen that movie. What is he like?
Too old for it.
That's not true.
It's your conscience. Your conscience is it gives you guilt. Like if you don't hopefully people, maybe not. Maybe you're too well practiced. If you don't do your homework that you know you should do you get guilty? Do you feel guilty about it? No. Okay, then you're too well practiced. I don't know how you people sleep if you have things to do. Like I don't sleep unless everything's crossed off, but that's me. I guess it's what makes me me and you not me, I guess. When you say something mean to someone, do you feel guilty? I'm done with you. Yeah, you should feel guilty every time, even if they deserved it. Because being mean is bad. But that whole conscience component of it, what makes you feel good or bad about yourself? When you do something, you go volunteer.
No, I get it now. I don't know.
Okay, here, on your whiteboards, let's go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what goes back and forth between the worst of us, our animalistic, and our moral guideposts. Here we go, okay. What is it, McKinnon?
Ego.
You okay today?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm really tired. I had a big presentation.
How'd it go? So you're in your exhaustion phase? Did that resistance really keep you going though? You did well? I'm so glad. Alright, on your whiteboard, please tell me what controls the ego? What principle controls your ego? Come on, we just covered it, people. What is it? Riley?
I am completely forgetting how to say this word.
Reality?
Yeah.
Okay. On your whiteboard, please tell me what two things control the id? What two things control your id? Control your id? No. No. Well, what are the fancy terms that we now know? What are the two that control the id? No. Control your id. Guys, we literally just covered it. I've got 2 right answers here. 3, 4. What is it? Ripkey.
The pleasure principle and the
The libido. The libido is your sex drive. Okay? And the pleasure principle is I want what I want, so I get what I want. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is it called when so I saw Hannah struggling to carry her books, and I was like, I should help her, but I'm not. So I sit there watching her struggle, and I'm like, I really should have helped her. Damn it. Oh, I'm such a crappy person. What is it? Come on. What is it? Zach. Conscience. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when I see a piece of cake, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm having that piece of cake, even if it entails a lie. What principle? I wanted it, so I take it. Lauren, pleasure principle. On your whiteboard, please tell me. I really want to be the best Sam Bennett I can possibly be. I do work hard, I do try. What is that? So far I have 3 right answers. No, that's not reality. I appreciate the compliment, but that's not reality. What is it, Tess?
Ego ideal.
Ego ideal. Why is it ego ideal?
This is what you want to be.
Yes. Yes. Give me the 2 principles that fall under id. Give me the two major ideas behind the id. If you can't put these together, you're screwed, people, because this is your whole damn test. What is it, Gabriella? Pleasure what? There you go. On your whiteboard.
What's the L word?
Libido. That's like sex drive. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what are the 2 under superego? What are the 2 principles or 2 beliefs of the superego? Come on. We just covered it, people. Come on. No. What is it? Guys, this isn't that hard. You guys are going to be rocked here in a second. What is it, Vanessa?
Ego ideal.
That's
Yeah. Ego ideal. What is the only ego ideal
What was the second one?
Wait,
and conscience?
what is ego ideal?
Ego ideal is in your head. There's a really wonderful Hannah who is super awesome at school, has tons of friends, is super kind, is just like a genuinely wonderful person, correct? And when you aren't that perfect Hannah in your head, you feel that guilt, that annoyance, correct? Yes?
Yeah, but what?
That's ego ideal. Is that perfect Hannah you have in your head that you're constantly comparing yourself to?
So it's like the conscience of your super ego.
Yeah. Well, you're super. So when we talk about, you're gonna want to write this down for the 4th period. No, you're fine, sweetie. I'd rather you ask me than not ask me, but like, I don't know why you guys are having a hard time on this. But I'd rather you ask me, so I ain't mad, girl. I ain't mad. I'd much rather you ask me than me see it on your board that you just have no idea what you're talking about. So I'd much rather this. So thank you for asking, because you are not the only one struggling right now. Okay. When we have our principles and our stuff, when we talk about our id, okay, so here I am. Here are my shoulders. I have an angel. And then I have the devil, correct? This little stick, whatever they call it. Here's your horns, perfect, okay? I have fabulous hair, okay? So, when we have if I'm an angel, what am I? Superego. So the superego is in charge of what 2 things? Ego ideal, which is the best of who you are. So, when I do something that I know I shouldn't do, like every time I lie, I disappoint my ego ideal, correct? Because I know I shouldn't be doing it. But the ego ideal doesn't make me feel guilty. What makes me feel guilty? The conscience. It's a direct comparison to the conscience. So when I compare myself to who I know I can be, and I fall short of that, it's my conscience that says, see, Sam, you are a failure. See, Sam, you're a liar. You're a terrible human being. You're a crappy person. Shame is what it says.
Ideal is kind of like the standards you set
It is
for yourself.
the best Hannah in your dreams that you could be. And every time that you are not that best Hannah, you feel bad, don't you? Like when you don't do perfect, like as well as you want to, every single person in this room is the same way. Every single person has it, correct? Yes? Okay? So, on your id, what are the things that your id has? Libido, which is your sex drive. Why are we talking about it? Because it's Freud and has to have sex if he's doing it. Okay? What's the other thing about it? Pleasure principle, that we do what we want because we want it. Pleasure principle. Okay? Hopefully your whole life isn't you walking around saying sex, 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 sex. Hopefully, there's other things that catch your attention and you say, damn it, I want it. That would be like cookies, cakes, and pies in my case. That would be pleasure principle, yes? Okay? So, when we have this, okay, and then your ego, which is in the middle, getting pulled and forth, what is it all based on? It is reality principle. That is dictating what we can and what we cannot get away with. So, 2 days ago, I realized that I could eat a huge slice of Wright's cake and lie to my husband and he would never know. So guess what I did? I ate a big piece of Wright's cake, lied to my husband saying, of course I was super on track on my diet today because we went 31 days of eating super healthy. Day 31, ate a big slice of cake. Hashtag regrets? Hell no. I don't have regret. It was awesome. Totally worth it. Okay? However, my reality principle was like, can I get away with it? I'm not going to eat a slice of cake in front of my husband and say, no, I'm not eating cake. Will I get in trouble? Yes, so then I'm going to be my super ego and then I'm going to do the right thing and not break my diet. However, when I can get away with it, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat the damn cake. He didn't know. He still doesn't know. He's so proud when I went 31 days without eating cake. I didn't go 31 days without eating cake. I don't know.
I'm telling you, went 30 days.
Cool. Do you, man. Okay. So, does that help, Hannah? Okay. So, reality is trying to figure out what you can get away with, what you can't. Your conscience makes you feel guilty when you don't live up to your ego ideal of the best self. Your pleasure principle is like, damn it, I want it, so I do it. Okay? And libido is all of your sex drives and all the animal instincts. All right. I'm going to... Do not write down fixation. I'm going to come back to fixation. It's hard to teach it without you knowing what you're going to be fixating in. Does that make sense? So, just start with the psychosexual stages. We'll come back to fixation. Gabriella, will you remind me? I'm going to start next one. All right, so this is Freud's third big theory. When he gets to this, he is in a high crescendo. Everyone thinks he's great. Okay, and it's called the psychosexual stages, so it obviously has to do with
Sex.
There you go. So, when we're talking about the psychosexual stages, there's 4 of them, okay? And he believes that children are sexual beings. Can we just take a second and appreciate how weird that is? Yes? Okay? Imagine saying that children are sexual beings in the Victorian age. It's even more of like a holy crap. This is one of his last big theory. This is his last big theory that it makes him really popular and all this stuff. Okay, so the psychosexual stages talks about the evolution. The first stage is the oral stage. Now the oral stage is occurring in the first year of life. You need to write down first year of life. Underneath oral in the box, I would write down first year. That's where I keep my date ranges, by the way. Okay? It is when the mouth is the erogenous zone. What does erogenous mean? Anyone know? Okay, it's like you find sexual pleasure from. Okay? And the weaning, what is weaning referring to? When you wean a baby. Yeah, when you're weaning a baby from what? Breastfeeding, people. Breastfeeding. Yes. Baby needs to breastfeed. This is the 1880s. We don't have, what's the fake milk called? Formula, thank you very much. We don't have that, okay? You either can breastfeed your child or you hire a wet nurse who can breastfeed your child for you, or your baby dies. If you can't breastfeed. Like, those are your options. And a lot of kids are going to die because they can't be breastfed, which means they're going to die of starvation or die because they don't have enough energy and all these other compounding factors. So, the erogenous zone is the mouth, and the weaning is the primary conflict. The id dominates. Okay? So write that in the definition box. Let me explain what that means. Okay? So, let's go blow by blow here. So, the mouth is the erogenous zone. Okay? Write down, babies put things in the mouth because it gets them sexually aroused. Yep. Guys, what do you do what does a baby do every time you put something in his hand? Grabs it and what? Puts it in his mouth. Why, from development, why do we know the baby puts it in his mouth? Hello? Why does the baby put everything in his mouth from when we talk about development? Why? Trying to figure out what it is. Why would he put it in his mouth? Why not feeling with his fingers like we do? No. Why? It's not a reflex. What part of the mouth is the most sensitive for a baby? Their hands or their mouth? Mouth. So what can they pick up? There's no real... their fingers aren't really feeling anything. They're barely clasping things. It's their palms that have more. Their fingers can't really feel anything. So when they touch something, they have no feeling, really, because they just haven't developed yet. So what has all the feeling? The mouth. So why does the baby put things in their mouth? They can feel it, absolutely. Freud is saying that it's not because they don't have feeling in their fingers and because they have more feeling in the mouth. They're saying it, he's saying it is because they derive sexual pleasure out of it, that it makes them feel good. Now think about it. It makes kind of sense, correct? What does every kid love to do? What is their favorite toy typically that shuts them up for hours? And they'll just sit there and go, pacifier. They'll just sit there and go, okay? They'll sit there for hours and hours and they're completely self-entertained. Freud says that because it gives them sexual pleasure to do that. Okay? The erogenous zone, the weaning. So breastfeeding, the reason why they love to breastfeed is because it gives them pleasure. Kind of makes sense. Weird. Don't get me wrong. It's weird. Thinking of a little baby as like a little sexual deviant. Put things in my mouth. It's kind of weird. But when you think about it in that way, how much pleasure they get from putting things in their mouth, they sit there and just like will chew on it for hours. If you hand them keys, what do? They sit there and chew on your keys and all that stuff. It makes sense. It's not outlandish. Can we agree? The id dominates, which means what? If the id dominates, what does that mean? Jenny?
There's no moral thought to receive it.
Yeah, so what is...
You just do it because you want to.
He does it, the baby does it because they want to do it. Absolutely. There is no more like, oh man, I shouldn't put those keys in my mouth because they're dirty and disgusting and could give me diseases. Okay, which is totally true. Don't give your kid car keys to eat. Anyway, okay. The id dominates, which means it's completely whatever they want at that moment. Okay, so first stage is oral. Second stage is from 1 to 3, and it's the anal stage. So 1 to 3 years old, make sure you put under anal stage. The anal stage is the second stage, occurring from 1 to 3, in which the anus is the erogenous zone. And that toilet training is the source of conflict, and ego develops. Okay? So, does a baby cry as soon as it poops in its diaper? No. When does a baby cry after it poops in its diaper? When it gets cold. So if the baby doesn't cry when he pooped in his diaper, why hasn't he cried yet? They like it. They like sitting in their own poop because it's warm.
That's disgusting.
They only start crying after they've pooped and someone hasn't changed them. It's gotten cold. That's the only reason. That is the only reason when they cry. So if your baby cry, like a lot of times, like when babies poop in their diaper and they're like, oh, the baby poop, and they're like smelling the butt, they're like picking up the baby and they're smelling, because the baby doesn't cry, because the baby is completely content sitting in its poop. That's what Freud is saying. The reason why the baby is completely content sitting in his own poop is because he's enjoying or she's enjoying it. And the only reason that they're enjoying it is why?
It's warm.
It's warm. We would say it's warm, but Freud is saying there's sexual pleasure in it. Think about it. Poop is the only thing a baby can make. They're proud. Sitting in my poop. Sitting in my poop.
How does
I made it.
They can throw up.
Yes?
how do they know that that's why the baby is?
It's a theory, my darling. We have very few laws. But can you at least stop and think about it for a second? If you think about it objectively, yes, we're talking about anal in children in the psychosexual stages. Like, there's a lot of buzzwords here that are really uncomfortable, all strung together. Can we agree? However, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. Would you agree? The fact that babies don't cry, okay? If you've ever seen, have you ever talked to a kid who's like 2 years old? What do they talk about? Pooping, peeing, fart jokes. Freud's saying all of this is because they get erogenous or sexual pleasure from their anus. And they're completely fascinated by butts. Okay? There was a little kid, I was at Publix like 2 weeks ago. And this little kid would just run up and like put two hands on people's butts, giggle, and run to someone else. And the mother is like chasing this little kid. And this kid just keeps running and just, like, not like if you're standing and the kid's running at you, he's not going to touch you. But if like someone's that way, the kid would put their hands on, like not on their legs, like go straight up and like toes up to like hit the butt.
Did you go up to her and be like, well, he's in the anal stage?
No, I sat there and I was like, thank God that's my kid. I would be dying right now. I'm so grateful. I have a dog at home. Okay? So, the training, potty training, is the source of conflict. There are some kids who are very easily potty trained. Ask your parents, were you easily trained or not? The people who derive the most sexual pleasure out of toilet training, are they going to be the easiest or the hardest to train? The hardest to train. Because they enjoy sitting in their mess. And they enjoy sitting there and being like, okay? Well, people who don't get that much sexual pleasure are going to be easily potty trained, which means they like to have order. They need everything to go like, this isn't really my thing, or they have to be in complete control, which is the other component of it. Are we uncomfortable yet? Oh, we're going to phallic next, so it's only getting better. So, ego is going to start developing. So what does that ego mean? When we talk about ego, what is now in play? Lauren.
Deciding whether they want to use the actual toilet.
And now for the first time they're trying to weigh what? The reality principle brings in for the first time what? Consequences, right? Consequences. So, if you've been trying to train your little baby for 6 months to poop in the potty, and the kid doesn't poop in the potty, is the parents thrilled or cranky? They're very cranky, okay? So, when the kid's like, I gotta poop. They're thinking, I could poop in my diaper, or I could poop in the potty. If I poop in the potty, my mommy will be happy, but if I poop in my pants, I can't believe I'm recording this. If I poop in my pants, I will be happy. So the kid for the first time is like, if I poop in my pants and I don't get away with it, guess what? If I get away with it, guess what's going to happen? The kid's going to keep pooping in his pants, correct? Which is why some kids don't get toilet trained until 5.
5?
Yeah, some parents are really bad at toilet training. Yes. None yet, but I appreciate it. Okay? So, the anal stage is when we start developing ego, when we start getting those consequences, which is exactly what's happening with toilet training. When you start toilet training, it's supposed to be only positive reinforcement. So when the kid goes poopy in the potty, you're like, yeah, yeah, and you do little poopy dances and stuff like that. If you're watching Tom vs. Time, one of his kids is doing toilet training, and they were doing like the poopy dance. Because the kid pooped in the potty and he was just so damn excited. No? Okay, cool. Anyway, so that's the anal stage. Okay, we'll come back to that. I want to go through all of them and I'll go through fixations. So, the third stage, which is from 3 to 6 years old, is the phallic stage. Okay, the phallic stage is 3 to 6 in which the child discovers sexual feelings, the superego develops. Okay? If you've ever hung out, okay, that sounds super creepy. If you know a 3 to 6 year old, they're fascinated by penises, vaginas, girl body, boy body, okay? They're fascinated by it. This is when little kids disappear at recess and play doctor. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And they go, huh. And then they go, huh. And they just stand there. It happens all the time. In elementary schools, they're not doing anything. They're just looking. They're just like, what is happening? Like, what's that? And they're just completely fascinated. Little boys and little girls have their hands down their pants the whole damn time. 3 to 6. Whether it's a girl, boy, it's not just a boy thing. It's a girl thing, too. They just have their hands in their pants the whole damn time. Who is more harshly punished? Girls or boys for putting their hands down their pants? Girls. Absolutely. Boys will be boys. Have we heard that expression? Okay. Masturbation, is that more of a male thing or a female thing in society's acceptance? Male. So what happens to our young girls who put their hand down their pants just like the boys? They get super like, oh my God, my daughter. And their boy and the dad will be like, not in front of your mom, I guess. I don't know. Okay. So when we have the phallic stage, they're fascinated by all of the parts. Okay. It is complete fascination on both sides. It's both men and women. And the superego develops. So what does that mean for the first time we're seeing? I see. Oh, give me a second. What is developing for the first time? If your superego is developing, what is really happening? Morality is kicking in. Okay. Have you ever? So there's like this really old like Italian phrase is that the more hair you have on your arms, the more you masturbated. It's a really old Italian thing. And so my grandma used to say it to my brother, like, oh, I see a lot of hair on these hands. Because my brother's really hairy anyway. That would be the whole moral judgment. Around 3 to 6 is we start telling people that it's wrong, it's right, it's wrong, it's right. And then all of a sudden, like, I have no idea, but, like, in my brother's head must be like, oh, man, my Nana's going to say something. I guess, you know, that whole right and wrong component of it, that would be the superego that's starting to develop. I mean, theoretically, society tells us that masturbation is wrong, correct? Yes? So when you do it, oh, you're going against society and all that crap. Whatever you think, I don't care. But that's the phallic stage, okay? Everyone's fascinated by what they have and what they don't have and trying to figure it out. If you've ever met a little kid, like, they're just completely fascinated. And they'll say absolutely the craziest things. Because they just have no filter. Like, I happen to have a friend who has very large breasts. And I had a little kid came up to her in the grocery store. You have really big boobies. And she was like, what the hell? I was like, he was like 4 years old. And I guess he's never seen any that big, I guess. It was a little boy. And she's like, it's going to have a long, hard road. And I giggled. It was funny. But we'll deal with that. Fourth stage is latency. Wow. Sorry. I didn't mean to forget you.
It's okay.
I mean, I didn't forget you, of course.
So would society's morals be the conflict?
Yeah, it's the judgment. It's the superego. That's going to be your conflict. Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure both boys and girls get told to put their hands on their pants. I think we can all agree girls get it worse. But that whole component of that whole morally wrong component. All right, so latency is your fourth, which is during school years. As soon as kids get to school, they kind of put their sexual feelings aside because they're trying to develop socially, okay? They're no longer putting their hands down their pants as much. It's going to come back in middle school, of course. But for kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I guess sixth, fifth. All right, goodbye. What a day. What a day.